Hey guys, in this video, we're gonna talk about how much do full-time real estate agents make? Coming up. All right, in this video, we're gonna talk about how much do full-time real estate agents make? And I'm not an agent, right? I'm not an agent, I'm not a broker, I'm not licensed. So it's not really the business that I'm in. I'm a real estate investor, and I've been a full-time real estate investor for about 7 years at this point. And I do know that there are a couple agents in town that do make really good money. And the reason is because they are full-time at it, and they're typically brokers, which you can be an agent, you can be a broker, or you can be an agent-broker mix, essentially, right? And the people that are running their own groups, basically, so like they have people that are working under them, they're doing really well. They're making multiple six figures, and it's even possible to make 7 figures if you really work hard and hustle and do, maybe 1,000 transactions a year as a broker to even make 7 figures. But I can tell you this, just recently, there was more real estate agents in my market than there was properties for sale. So I do want to basically warn those that are looking at becoming a full-time real estate agent, and they're wondering and they're searching Google. That's probably how they found this video. How much does a full-time real estate agent make? Well, it really depends on how big of a network you have and how much prospecting you're willing to do. It also is going to matter depending on your market. And if the houses that you're selling are 60 grand or 600,000, it's also going to matter about your marketing budget. How much money are you going to have into your marketing? Do you have no money to market, or do you have 10 or 15 grand a month to go buy a bunch of billboards around town? All of these things are variables that are going to affect how much business you're going to be able to bring in, how much business you're going to close, and then ultimately how much money you're going to make. Okay? So, as a real estate investor, I like to buy properties and rent them out. I like to buy them and fix them up. I like to wholesale them even too. And the beautiful thing about being a real estate investor is you can create passive income that will pay you every month if you get into the landlording business like myself. One of the downsides of being a full-time real estate agent is after you go close a deal, you get paid. I guess you could say that's a good thing. But then you have to start all over in that prospecting and that marketing cycle again. So basically, as an agent, you're creating yourself a job. Or you may even look at it like you're going to start yourself a small business, and you can even hire people to work under you, and you can get your broker's license, so on and so forth. But you are still working or managing people that are working to go out and get those listings and or find buyers to help find those properties that they want. So in order to answer the question, how much does a full-time real estate agent make? It depends entirely on how much hustle you have and what resources you have and what your budgets for time and money are for marketing, right? I would say the average agent probably only sells a couple houses a year. The average agent also might not be full-time. So as a full-time agent, that's what you intend to do 100% of the time. So I would hope as a full-time agent that you could make $60,000 to $80,000, which would give you a comfortable living here in the United States, especially in the Midwest. Maybe on the coast, $80,000 to $120,000 without working yourself to the bone. But if you really want to hustle and you want to work hard, there is no reason that if you become a full-time agent that you can't make a 6-figure salary, all right? I personally know a few agents who are actually brokers, and they also do agency work, but they also have agents that work for them, and they make close to 7 figures, maybe even 7 figures. So that is possible, and there is the potential for you to do that. But to do that, it's probably going to take a couple years. You're going to have to build your team. You're going to have to build your systems. You're going to have to build your processes. And you're definitely going to have to build a marketing budget. Every team that I know that does well spends a decent amount of money on marketing. And this isn't just like a one-time spend. This is a monthly cost. every month over and over to let people know that you are in the business of helping them find their next house, or that you're in the business of helping them list the current one for sale, and to get that done and facilitate the paperwork and help you get that done, right? As an investor, I prefer, and that's again why I'm not an agent, is I prefer to build something or buy a piece of property that I can rent out, in that if I don't want to work in 2 months from now, I'm still going to have income coming in. So that's going to be the big difference between being the agent and being the investor. Also, the agents don't really take risk, whereas the investor is taking risk, right? We're buying properties, we're fixing them up, we're taking on risk. So there's definitely a difference between the two. But this video is all about how much does a full-time agent make, right? And the answer, guys, is it varies, it depends. Don't jump into being a real estate agent and think that right out the gate you're gonna go make $250,000, especially if your budget for marketing is zero. However, typical agents across the country, now this may vary from market to market and city to city, but typically the cost of working with an agent or a brokerage is roughly 6%. Now, it could vary. Could it be 4.5% in some areas? Could it be 8% in other areas? Yes, of course. But typically it's 6%. So in order to figure out how much money you can make, all you gotta do, guys, is some simple math. So, a $100,000 property. If you get that listing, you are gonna charge that seller 6%. However, you are typically only gonna get to keep 3% or half. And again, that number may move a little bit because you're gonna have to pay the buyer's agent the other 3%. If you are the broker, you get to keep the entire 3%, or I should say, you get to keep the entire half of the 6% total fee, okay? If you are an agent under a brokerage, you may only get half of half. You may have to split the proceeds with your broker. And again, there is lots of different ways and variables that can go into that. But let's just assume that you get to keep the entire 3%. So how much money will you make if you go help somebody sell a $100,000 piece of property, guys? Very simple. $100,000 is the gross amount. That's the purchase price. 6% is the total fee that will be charged by both agents. And typically the listing agent charges the 6%, and then they go and they offer the 3% fee, or 3% of that, to the buyer's agent. So you as a listing agent only get 3%, and 3% of 100 is $3,000. So if you want to go make $100,000 and the mean value of a home in your market is $100,000, you are essentially going to have to do 30 deals a year to get to 6 figures. If the mean home is $200,000, 3% of that is $6,000. Now you're going to have to essentially do 15 sales a year. That's on the listing side. You can also make the same percentage, 3% roughly, if you're on the opposite side, which is you have a buyer, you have a client, friend, relative, whatever, acquaintance, and they're the one buying, and you can help them buy by taking them to a listed property that listing agent has the 6%, right? That's how it works. So if you're in the $500,000 average value home in your area, then you can do less deals to get to the 6-figure mark. But if you're in a lower valued area, you're gonna have to do more of those deals. So to answer this question, you need to figure out a couple things on your end. A, do you wanna be a full-time real estate investor? I don't. I'm sorry, not investor, agent. I wanna be an investor, not the agent. But the agent route is also a really good way to get involved. If you don't have a ton of money and maybe you don't have a ton of time and you want to learn the business, I always encourage people to go out and get their license just because of the educational aspect of it. You may not make a ton of money being a real estate agent if you don't have a ton of time or any marketing budget, but you can learn a tremendous amount that way. So, in order to figure out how much you're going to make full-time, figure out how much money you're willing to invest into your marketing to get leads. Figure out how much time you're willing to invest into prospecting. and or running appointments to get listings and or showing buyers properties. Next, figure out the amount that you're gonna earn on each deal. 6%, you could actually earn the full 6% if you got the listing and brought the buyer in. But typically you're gonna either get one or the other. You're either gonna get the listing or you're gonna have the buyer, and you're gonna make the deal, and you're gonna get half of 6%, which is 3%. So what is 3% of? Is it 100,000? Is it 300,000? Is it 500,000? And then how many of those type of deals do you need to make to get to 6 figures? Or maybe your goal's $250,000 a year. That may mean you have to go sell 45 houses at $350,000 a house. So that's how it works, guys. Don't overcomplicate it. And I appreciate you watching this video. If you like this video, hit that like button. Let me know where you're from in the comments. Drop a comment down below and subscribe for more videos just like this one, guys. Thanks for watching. Signing off.